Good morning. I thought I'd run a short clip on osteoporosis, bone density, calcium, magnesium, and vitamin D. So let's get into that one for fun. Osteoporosis is a severe thing. A lot of people have it, and a lot of people are scared of it. Nobody wants to end up with a broken limb or end up leaving their house and going into an assisted living complex for a while, let alone the cost and the pain. But let's get to the crux of what stops these osteoblasts and osteoclasts. Those are the little cells that make up bone density, tearing it down and building it up like road construction. Supplying your body with just calcium from tablets or milk just isn't going to cut it. Most of the seniors you talk to who have raging osteoporosis ate cheese and drank milk and never really had much of a lack of calcium availability in the last 40 years, but somehow they all seem to get a lot of osteoporosis. The concept of delivering calcium to your body and having it react to make bone density is about as ludicrous as telling your teenager to just clean their room without any form of punishment. It just isn't going to happen. An example of that is all the seniors in the nursing home have fortified foods, have calcium in their Tropicana orange juice, and they've got calcium in their Jello, and they stick it everywhere, and these people's bone density is going down even with bioavailable calcium. In nature, you never see animals drink milk after a couple years of age, and they don't seem to have osteoporosis. So I wouldn't say I'm the biggest milk fan. That includes all milk byproducts, because in nature you don't hear of a cheetah breaking its hip or an elephant having weak bone density because it doesn't have its several cups of milk a day concept. Just when you look at nature, the thought doesn't plug in. The dairy cow, I mean, why does this thing give away calcium when it doesn't drink anything that is a dairy product? They're within other questions. Dark greens are the best place to start. They are some of the most bioavailable sources of complete calcium that your body could utilize should it need to. That's the whole crux of the problem. Need begets change in structure. So if you're not going to take away the kid's car, he's not going to clean his room. If you're not going to put strenuous activity on the bone, the odds of the bone changing its morphological breakup, which is how dense it is really poor, whether you give it calcium or not. So the point of the story is you got to have the threat or the action, the load bearance, and then the bones learn I need to be denser in order to put up with this habit or this lifestyle or this activity, and then it sends a signal to the little cells which tell the GI system, go ahead and bring that stuff across, transport it, let's spend some ATP or energy, and let's build bones. Let's utilize energy and function and time to put up with this tolerance from this habit, the strength training or load bearance exercise. Without that, it considers it a complete waste to have thick bones sitting in the chair watching the Golf Channel or playing cards or going to crafts. The body doesn't need heavy bone density to do light activity. That's why it shed it in the first place. So you have a functional paradigm that won't work by just a replacement theorem. The animal kingdom is one of my favorite places to see this because you don't have that problem. In a human system, most people think, well, we're not animals, Alan, we're humans. We'll pick the country of India, which is 1/5 the world's population, which does not suffer from an epidemic osteoporosis problem, even though they can't have dairy because their god is the cow. They don't have a large goat industry or supplemental calcium industry or dairy industry. And you know, you're talking 1/5 of the world's population. Half the world doesn't get dairy today, 2013. You're talking Africa, rural China, and India. So it's ludicrous to think that the lack of a dairy industry would create an osteoporosis nightmare. We don't have one, not as a pandemic. We have an epidemic in the United States, but that's a whole different sort. The solution we're suggesting, the calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, the shots, the pills, it doesn't do the deal as compared to what the cause is and how to solve it. I mean, if you did want to take calcium, you could take calcium lactate, you could take calcium stearate, you could take calcium citrate, but calcium carbonates like drywall, it's gypsum, and there are different forms of calcium. That's why the ones in nature are the best, and the ones that we buy in the pills generally aren't that great of a function. But again, that all is dependent upon bone density, and that is dependent upon activity. So if you don't change your activity, you don't get your benefits. So there's just a little rundown on osteoporosis. If you want to learn more or bring it up at a consultation with me, go ahead. My email is office@nuca.info. Our toll-free number is 866-484-5600. And, don't believe what you're told, whether it's by me or anyone else. Research, look at the truth, look at nature as an example, and think about it. Make a great day, make great choices.